We are living in very interesting times. I feel, well, my background goes way back into professional dance all over the world, India, ancient Egypt, etc. I'm a craniosacral therapist and trained in a technique called the psychophysical method of neurosensory reeducation with two of the leaders of the human potential movement, Bob Masters and Jean Houston. Worked very closely with them and have studied healing techniques, the arts, the stories, the myths in cultures throughout the world, and looked at all of these ancient systems of healing. So when I was in India, I was particularly talking about what's called the Shakti, the energy, the life force, the feminine life force. That is in all things and all beings. And I spent a lot of time, I lived with my teacher, Sitara Devi, queen of North Indian dance, and very steeped in the tantric tradition. So I got very direct teachings from people, and I feel very blessed in that. And it seemed like one of the focuses of that was this chi, this life force energy, this Shakti, this prana. And so I had been working in video since '78, mostly doing world dance projects. And then I met my husband, Jay Widener, in '96, and we decided to do, he was in the film industry, we decided to make our company Sacred Mysteries and devote it to really enhancing human potential and bringing forth the teachings of alchemy and of yoga and these mystical teachings from all over the world. Particularly, my focus is in the area of healing. So we had made a feature film, our only feature film. We'd done a lot of feature documentaries, but this was narrative, and it was all about introducing the concept of the energy body, the light body. And it was very simple, and I thought, well, I've been studying this in traditions around the world, so I should do a documentary. And of course, I wanted to interview Mantak Chia because I knew he had a lot of teachings on this subject. So I went to this wonderful event. We had the same publisher, and so they sent me to meet him at this center called Eastover in Western Massachusetts. And the owner, Ying, said, well, you know, I have this event going on, just interview everybody. And so there I met, let's see, Lee Holden, Roger Yanka, Lonnie Jarrett, Robert Peng, Mantak Chia, of course, Master Li Junfeng, who has become my teacher, one of my teachers. What an extraordinary Qigong master, Master Jianye Zhang, and many more. And I was so taken by what they were telling me, because I come from such a deep background in metaphysics and in energy healing that I said, wait a minute, I have to make a documentary on Qigong. And so I started, but it just grew and grew and grew because it's such a vast subject. And I've interviewed about 30 different masters from all over the world. And one of the things we say, you know, Qigong is for everyone. So there's people from all different ethnicities and all different appearances. You know, you don't have to be like in ballet, like all thin, and, you know, you can be any kind of, you could be anyone, you could be any age to practice Qigong. And I was so enlivened by the self-healing qualities of it. I had been doing yoga since the late 60s, and I felt that, yes, yoga's great, and there's so, if you go deep into it, it's amazing. But when it translated to the West, it became sensationalized, as things do, commercialized. So all of a sudden, it's not this deep spiritual self-healing form. Now it's like yoga for abs and all this kind of stuff. So I thought, oh, well, Qigong hasn't done that yet. And maybe I can help really bring out the self-healing qualities of it and keep it in its kind of pure energetic form, to feel this life force energy flowing through you and enlivening and nurturing and nourishing, you know, your physical body, all your organs. There's so much to it. And then the deep, I think the first time that I had acupuncture was in 1978 as a dancer, you know, that's how I found alternative medicine, because a dancer, you're working your body a lot. And the Qi, especially my teacher, Janye Zhang, really, he teaches Qigong for all these different ailments, and really working with the meridians and bringing the Qi into the meridians through the body, and just, you know, working to release the stuck Qi, the stagnant Qi, the murky Qi, depleted Qi, all of these tools that the TCM, acupuncture world, know very well. And so to me, it was such an incredible compliment to acupuncture and herbs that you could take home and do yourself. It would just enhance if you go for acupuncture treatment, then you go home and you do the Qigong, and it's like just the next level of healing. So for the last 4 years, I have been interviewing these teachers and doing my best to help Qigong come out into the larger world as the extraordinary healing modality. And it's been quite the journey.
Well, it's about time, because it's been about several thousands of years since it's hit mainstream. And so you're doing a fabulous job of you know, sharing with the world how this process is evolving. You know, I love, you know, when you first started speaking about how you started interviewing and how you met these masters, I just welled up with so much emotion, and I don't know how to explain it. And it's kind of strange that I am feeling that emotion, because I'm not that kind of a person to where I feel my emotions come out that easily. But I feel like when you talk about these masters, there's this type of energy that just comes out, and you speak with such profound conviction on how they've impacted so many lives with this practice. So my question for you is, how did you feel when you were in the presence of those that you were interviewing? For example, Mantak Chi, one of my most admired masters. What was it like to be in his presence?
Mantak Chi always brings a smile to my face. There's this kind of delight, and he has that little laugh. Well, also, I've been around in doing my own research for many years, and even living with masters of my teacher Sitara. She's the queen of North Indian dance. I lived with her and got really one-to-one teachings. I worked with my teacher Namkhai Norbu in the Tibetan tradition. I've been around and interviewed for our documentaries many masters. So there's always, but there was something unique about the Qigong, and that was the level of embodiment. Everyone is so much in their body, connected to the earth, connected to the heavens, connected to nature. Not only the outer nature, but their own energetic, emotional inner nature, and what we call the true nature. And these are particularly the teachings of my dear friend John Milton, who lives here in Crestone, where I live, and teaches the way of nature, which is a Taoist and Buddhist form. So every one of them, what really amazed me as a filmmaker, because I wanted to bring the audience into nature, outer nature. And so everything has been filmed outside in these beautiful locations, which is not easy as a filmmaker. It's, you have to, some days it gets really windy, you know, some days you'll be filming, you have it all set and then the clouds roll in or the sun, so, but what I found was every one of them, they would stand for an hour or more, just stand in nature and talk. You know, they were so vital. And the other thing I really noticed is their vitality and their youthfulness. Master Li Jianfeng, who has become one of my major teachers, he is now 80, I think 82. And he was a martial arts film star. Then he was head of the Beijing multi-award-winning wushu team. And he discovered and trained Jet Li. And then he just got very absorbed as he got older into Qigong and is this extraordinary teacher of Qigong, coming to Qigong from dance and yoga and all that. His is it's so uplifting and very movement oriented, but always with love for him and his beautiful daughter, Jing. There's such a pouring out of grace. And they say, you know, Qi is love. You know, Qi is light. As we say at the end of the first trailer, Qi is love, Qi is light. Qi is free, and Qi is energy, your life force.
I love that. I love that. And that's why we're having this conversation. You know, this pandemic has emotionally shifted so many of us. I mean, I didn't really feel like I felt an emotional shift until I realized that, wow, I am experiencing something that I haven't experienced before. And I feel that there's a lot of anxiousness, a lot of depression. It's pretty obvious because we're all missing that human connection that we need. And I feel like sometimes we are being blindsided by what's happening in the media and what's happening on the news. And we're being so divided from what is actually our true nature, which is to get out in nature and to understand and discover who we really are as a human being. But on the other side of that, I'm quite grateful and thankful for the situation that we're in, because it actually is causing us to slow down and to open up and discover things about ourselves that we never even really knew, by learning how to be quiet, learning how to just feel. And I feel that that's what Qigong teaches us. It teaches us how to understand the difference between, you know, feeling angry and feeling upset and feeling happy and excited. So let's talk a little bit about that. You know, what kind of effects exist in the emotional, well, how do our emotions affect our spiritual body, and how is it that Qigong can help us just have this sense of like well-being? What is it about this practice that is so impactful on our spiritual health and our mental health?
What's so exciting for me about Qigong and TCM in general is that we're talking not just about the physical body. We're talking about the energetic, emotional body. We're talking about the spiritual bodies and their interconnectedness, and how your thoughts affect your emotions, and your emotions affect your physical body, your organs. And in TCM, the organs themselves are connected with emotions. So you hold anger in your liver, right? And there are, particularly there's a teaching called the 6 healing sounds, That's what, that was the first teaching I received directly on camera from Mantak Chia. And you're focusing, like we'll say your lungs, because that's very much up these days. So, you're focusing your energy, your chi. First of all, you're always, might as well do it. You're rubbing your hands together to feel the chi, right? And you're clapping them, and you feel this tingling and heat, and then you stick it on, put your hands in front of your lungs, and you really sense into your lungs, and do your best to visualize them and look and see if there's any stuckness or murkiness, and then you look in left and right with your eye. I'll just do a simple version. You're looking into your lungs, you're looking into them, and then you lift your hands up above your head, and you do the sound. As you imagine this like smoke, all the muckiness, murkiness, leaving your body and coming down into the earth to be transmuted. The earth receives our that kind of energy, and then transmutes it. And then you imagine this golden light coming from the earth up through your feet, through your legs, into your whole body, into your lungs. It's very beautiful. There are these practices, and there's, for each of the major organs, there's a sound. And people could find this teaching. They just type in, Mantak Chia, 6 healing sounds.
There's there's like thousands and thousands of different types of Qigong. It's really fascinating,
Oh, yeah.
meditation.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have studied alchemy, turning lead into gold. But it's literally the transmutation of yourself into really finding, once again, that true nature that always exists.